Alright, I'm gonna be showing you a team that is really competitive for both PvE and PvP. This team is really easy for all beginners to achieve. There's 5 of these cards are all rare, so they are really easy to get. You don't need to use all of these cards, you can use different variants of this nature team. The only difficult one to acquire is basically Malfurion. He is necessary for this team to work though, but if you can get him, the rest of the squad is really easy to get, and you can basically have a competitive team as a beginner really quick, and that way use this to learn the game without being stomped every single match. I've acquired 10,000 rating just now with this team, and I've only been playing a few weeks. 10,000 is really high for a new player. I have had friends that played this for several months and they're still stuck on 7,500, so 10,000 is really good to acquire, and you can do this easily by just using this very basic cookie cutter team that I don't really see a lot of guides on. Basically all the guides just show you teams that are probably really good and fun, but are difficult for a beginner to acquire and actually learn the game and get into it. So I'm gonna explain the team and then show you some matches. We have Malfurion, which is a pretty stable character of this team. You're gonna be using Scenario Search most of the time, so probably gonna max that out before Entangled Roots and the other one here. It's a mistake that I didn't do it, but I didn't know better. Then you also have the weapon, which heals your entire team each time you cast a nature ability, which is very often. So these two you should definitely prioritize maxing out on Malfurion, and he will be very beneficial for your team. Yeah, he's gonna be the starting squad with Brukan and Goff most of the matches. Pretty much every match. These three I put out turn 1. Then we have Brukan, which is here to buff up your damage of your team, and yeah, basically all of his abilities are really good, but you're going to be using Lightning Bolt a lot, and sometimes you're going to be using Muddy Footing to make nature combo with Goff. I'm going to explain you this guy after, but basically this is a quick ability that you can use to make a nature combo with with Goff. And yeah, he also does a lot of damage. You don't necessarily need this weapon, you can use whichever one you want, but this is the one that I prefer. And yeah, I would say max out Lightning Bolt first, and yeah, these are both great abilities. Then we have Goff. His weapon is not really that important. I've decided to use Ironbark since I sometimes use the Taunt. You can also use this if you don't plan on putting him in turn 1 every single match. The ability you want to max out first though is Brambles. This is probably what you're going to be using every single turn with Goff, which combined with quicker abilities like Scenario Search and Muddy Footing make this cast twice, and this is gonna do a lot of damage to protect us. 56 without nature damage buff, but as you ramp up this is gonna be even more, and this is basically what you're gonna use to one turn kill. Yeah, he is very strong, he just benefits from these two basically. So all of these characters are basically threats that the opponent needs to deal with, but that's impossible to deal with them all at the same time, which is basically why these three are so good. Some matches you're gonna beat entire teams only using these three against easy opponents. Then I'm using Cookie, which goes really well with the rest of the squad. He can buff up HP, which goes really well with Anaconda that I'm gonna be showing you later. Then you can bleed the entire team, enemy team, which is nice, and you restore HP for yourself, which basically you can remove bleeds on yourself with this. But the main reason that he is here is for the 9 extra health to buff these 3. This basically makes these 3 really awkward to deal with the opponent and hard to kill turn 1. So that's basically the main reason why he's here. But he also works really well with the team, buffing HP, which is really good with Anaconda. And yeah, just a lot of damage overall with the bleed. Then you have Anaconda. You can use whatever weapon you prefer between these 2. I prefer this one, but this one is also really good. The main ability you're going to be using is Mint Beast. Once you have a Viper out, you're going to give it extra HP, and as you can see here, this means attack is always equal to its health. So every time you give somebody HP, or the Viper HP, it also gets more damage, which quickly becomes a lot. You can see how Cookie also can buff HP if he kills an enemy, and Elon also can do this, which I'm going to be showing you after. And this can end up being a lot of damage. She's really hard to kill because she also heals every single turn, and just really annoying for the opponent to deal with. Very strong, and works really well with the team, since after you cast 3 nature abilities, you summon a new Viper with the weapon I chose. You're basically going to be summoning a Viper every single turn, so you're always going to have a Viper. Yeah, you're also going to be using Serpent Bite sometimes, so you can also put in points to this ability. The ability, this itself, you're pretty much never going to be using. I never used it, so definitely max out these 2 first and the weapon. Then we have Elon, or Yulon, whatever, and he's just a character that works really well with the team. He can buff HP, which also again benefits the Vipers a lot, as you are also gonna give them damage. And his Jade Gust can do a lot of damage to fighters. Basically, when you do 80 damage to a fighter, that's pretty much one shot just with this ability. So that's just amazing. And then you have the Taunt, which also boosts your nature damage. So yeah, I rarely use the Taunt, but it can come in handy, I guess. But the main ability you want to max is the Jadefire Buffet. With the weapon here, you give extra HP. It's not necessary to have this, but if you have it, that's what I would suggest that you get or use. So you give even more HP to the Vipers and your entire team, basically. For it's an incredible ability that it's so fast, so you can basically save somebody from getting killed. Can be really annoying for your enemy team, and yeah, the synergy it has with the Vipers is just amazing. So yeah, these 2 abilities I would definitely max first, and then the Taunt, and also of course the weapon to buff the Jade Flame Buffet to give even more HP to your Vipers. So that's basically the team. You can use different variants. You don't have to use these characters specifically, but they synergize really well with each other. You can also use something like Mukla, for example, instead of Elon, and that also works really well. But this is the squad that I prefer, and it's really easy for beginners to acquire these cards and have a competitive team that synergizes really well with each other. So that is my suggestion for beginners to use, and I'm gonna just show you some games.
For the wild.
These old bones know it's
Nobody messes with my friends. Jade Serpent guide.
My quest begins here.
time to save the day.
Job's done. monsters are here! I can feel it! For the wild.
Bear hug! Lightning is the
For the wild.
This battle will live on in the annals of
None
history.
can stand against the Serpent Lords.
Job's done. Jade Serpent guide you.
None can stand against the Serpent Lords.
time to save the day!
Job's done.
I say, good day.
Job's done.
bones know it's storm coming.
For the wild.
The elements unbound
Not
flow.
Venom! None can stand against the Serpent Lords.
Job's done.
Listen to your inner voice.
Job's done. For the wild.
Lightning is back!
Nobody messes with my friends.
Listen to your inner voice.